It's been a while since a film truly pinned me to my seat, heart hammering, not just from adrenaline-pumping sequences, but from a genuine investment in a character's desperate fight against impossible odds. Netflix's new release, HAVOC 2025, isn't just a title, it's an experience, a visceral, often breathtaking plunge into a world utterly shattered, where one person's courage is pitted against the raw, indifferent power of nature and the ghosts of her own past. This isn't your typical explosion-filled spectacle, though it certainly delivers on that front. It's a surprisingly human story anchored by a compelling lead, set against a backdrop of almost unimaginable destruction. The film opens not with chaos, but with a quiet, lingering sense of regret. We meet Maya, portrayed with a steely resolve and haunting vulnerability by, let's imagine a breakthrough actress, perhaps Zara Al-Jamil. Maya was once a celebrated rescue pilot, one of the best, until a mission went tragically wrong, leaving her grounded, scapegoated, and wrestling with a guilt that has become her constant companion. She now lives a life of carefully constructed anonymity, far from the roar of rotors and the call of duty. Al-Jamil conveys Maya's inner turmoil with subtle glances and a weariness that speaks volumes, making her instantly relatable despite her exceptional former career. This fragile piece is obliterated when the Big One hits the sprawling, technologically advanced city of Viridia. The earthquake depicted in HAVOC is unlike anything I've seen on screen before, not just in its scale, but in its horrifying plausibility. The visual effects team deserves immense credit here. The sequence of the city tearing itself apart is both awe-inspiring and terrifyingly real. Skyscrapers don't just crumble, they twist, groan, and collapse in a symphony of destruction that feels meticulously researched. The immediate aftermath is a landscape of pure desolation, a concrete graveyard shrouded in dust, punctuated by fires and the distant, chilling sounds of a city in its death throes. Communications are down, infrastructure is obliterated, and official rescue channels are immediately overwhelmed and paralyzed. Amidst this sprawling catastrophe, a desperate, garbled message finds its way to Maya. A team of scientists, including her estranged former mentor Dr. Eris Thorne, the man who trained her, and whose disappointment has haunted her for years, is trapped in the sublevels of a cutting-edge research facility located in what has now become the most unstable and inaccessible part of Viridia. The facility, ironically designed to withstand seismic events, has partially collapsed, and time is rapidly running out due to failing life support and continuous, violent aftershocks. What follows is a narrative of sheer grit and desperate improvisation. Denied official sanction and resources, Maya unearths Phoenix, her old, decommissioned rescue helicopter, a battered relic compared to the sleek machines of her past. With the help of a reluctant, aging mechanic who owes her a favor, a wonderfully gruff and unexpectedly tender performance by a veteran character actor, say, Ken Watanabe, in a supporting role, she gets the bird airborne. From this point, HAVOC becomes a relentless, edge-of-your-seat journey into the heart of the disaster zone. The aerial sequences are simply spectacular. Director, let's invent a name, perhaps Marcus Cole, known for intense character-driven action, uses a combination of sweeping, panoramic shots to convey the terrifying scale of the devastation and tight, claustrophobic cockpit views that place you right alongside Maya. You feel every buffet of wind, every tremor that rattles the Phoenix, every heart-stopping moment as she navigates through canyons of collapsing buildings and dust clouds that obscure all visibility. This isn't stylized balletic action. It's raw, dangerous, and utterly gripping. Maya isn't an invincible superhero. She's highly skilled, yes, but also visibly strained, making mistakes and pushing herself and her machine to their absolute limits. The HAVOC isn't just physical. As Maya ventures deeper into the ruins, the film subtly explores the breakdown of societal order and the desperate measures people resort to when faced with annihilation. She encounters not just physical obstacles, but also the human element, pockets of survivors, some helpful, some dangerous, all terrified. These encounters are brief, but add layers to the film's world, reminding us of the widespread suffering beyond Maya's immediate mission. The emotional core of the film, however, remains Maya's internal journey and her desperate bid to save Thorne. Her interactions with him, once she reaches the crippled facility, are fraught with the weight of their shared past. There are no lengthy, tearful reconciliations. The dialogue is sparse, practical, but laden with unspoken regret and a desperate hope for redemption. The rescue itself is a masterclass in sustained tension, a series of complex challenges in a constantly shifting, life-threatening environment. While HAVOC is undeniably an action thriller, it transcends the genre through its focus on character and its refusal to shy away from the grim realities of such a catastrophe. It's not about glorifying destruction, but about highlighting the resilience of the human spirit. Zahra Al-Jamil's performance is central to this. She carries the film with a powerful mix of focused intensity and raw emotion. You believe her expertise, you feel her fear, and you root for her with every fiber of your being. If there are minor stumbles, they are few. Perhaps a subplot involving a secondary character back at the makeshift command post feels a little less compelling than Maya's immediate peril, acting more as an expositional device at times. And while the science behind the research facility and some of its more advanced tech is given a cursory explanation, it mostly serves as a backdrop to the human drama. These are small points, however, in a film that gets so much right. The sound design is another hero of HAVOC, creating an immersive audioscape of creaking metal, crumbling concrete, distant sirens, and the ever-present gut-wrenching rumble of aftershocks. It's a film that truly benefits from being seen with the best sound system possible. In conclusion, HAVOC 2025 is more than just a disaster movie. It's a powerful testament to courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable human will to survive and connect, even in the face of overwhelming desolation. It delivers the kind of large-scale spectacle that draws audiences to the genre, but it does so with intelligence, heart, and a stunning central performance that elevates it far above typical fare. It will leave you breathless, a little shaken, but ultimately deeply moved. This is one you'll want to experience. It seems like Netflix is really leaning into the high-octane, visceral experience this year, and their latest offering, HAVOC 2025, is a prime example. Forget a slow burn. This is a film that grabs you by the collar from its opening moments and rarely loosens its grip. It's loud, it's relentless, and it's the kind of movie that leaves you feeling a bit breathless, maybe even a little bruised, by the time the credits roll. This isn't a subtle character study, but rather a full-throated symphony of destruction and desperation, anchored by a surprisingly human core amidst the chaos. The premise is terrifyingly plausible in its broad strokes. Viridia, a sprawling, technologically advanced metropolis, is brought to its knees by a series of catastrophic seismic events. Not just an earthquake, but a sustained geological nightmare that shatters the city's infrastructure, isolates vast sectors, and plunges its inhabitants into a desperate struggle for survival. Communications are down, official rescue efforts are overwhelmed and crippled, and the city becomes a fractured, perilous landscape of collapsing skyscrapers, unstable ground, and pockets of survivors cut off from any hope. This is the HAVOC zone. Our entry point into this maelstrom is Maya, portrayed by, let's imagine, the formidable Anya Sharma, an actress who has been steadily making a name for herself in physically demanding roles. Maya is a former elite emergency response pilot, grounded and haunted by a past mission that ended in tragedy and public disgrace. She now lives a quiet, almost reclusive life, the weight of her past a constant companion. When the disaster strikes Viridia, she's on the periphery, but the chaos finds her. A fragmented, desperate message gets through. A team of vital research scientists, including her estranged former mentor, Dr. Eris Thorne, played with weary gravitas by a veteran character actor, perhaps someone like David Strathairn if we're casting an ideal, is trapped in a subterranean research facility deep within the most unstable sector of the city. The facility, crucial for its data on predicting such events, oh, the irony, is now a tomb in waiting. With official channels paralyzed and the window for survival rapidly closing, Maya makes a choice that defines the film. Against orders, and with a battered, outdated helicopter she practically wills back into service. The Albatross, as she grimly calls it, she embarks on a solo, unsanctioned rescue mission. This is where HAVOC truly takes flight, both literally and figuratively. Anya Sharma is nothing short of a force of nature as Maya. There's a coiled intensity to her, a blend of profound skill and deep-seated pain. She doesn't deliver lengthy monologues. Her character is conveyed through her actions, her grit, the exhaustion etched on her face, and the fierce determination in her eyes. You believe she can fly that chopper through hell, and you feel every jolt, every near miss, every agonizing decision she has to make. This isn't a superhero. She's a highly skilled professional pushed to her absolute limits, running on fumes and sheer willpower. The spectacle in HAVOC is, as the title suggests, immense. The depiction of a city tearing itself apart is rendered with terrifying realism. This isn't just generic CGI rubble. The visual effects team has clearly worked overtime to create a dynamic, constantly shifting environment that feels genuinely threatening. Buildings don't just fall, they groan, twist, and collapse in unpredictable ways. Dust chokes the air, fires rage unchecked, and the ground itself seems to betray anyone who dares to tread on it. The sound design is a crucial player here, an almost oppressive character in itself. The roar of collapsing structures, the shriek of stressed metal, the distant cries, and the unsettling silence that sometimes falls, pregnant with the threat of the next aftershock. The director, let's conjure a name known for intense action, say J.K. Adewale, films the action sequences with a raw, immersive energy. The helicopter flights through the skeletal remains of Viridia are heart-stopping, weaving through canyons of shattered glass and steel. There are no easy solutions for Maya. Every landing is a gamble. Every encounter with other desperate survivors is fraught with tension. The film doesn't shy away from the grim realities of such a catastrophe: the fear, the opportunism, the sheer human cost. Beyond the immediate survival narrative, HAVOC touches on themes of redemption, responsibility, and the courage to act in the face of overwhelming odds. Maya's journey isn't just about rescuing the scientists. It's about confronting her own demons, the ghosts of the past mission that broke her. Her relationship with Dr. Thorne, revealed in brief, poignant flashbacks, adds an emotional anchor to the relentless action. He was the one who believed in her, and perhaps, by saving him, she can find a path to forgiving herself. The pacing is, for the most part, relentless. Once Maya enters the HAVOC zone, the film barely pauses for breath. It's a series of escalating challenges, each more dangerous than the last. This constant forward momentum is thrilling, though there are a few moments where one might wish for a slightly longer pause to absorb the full emotional impact of a particular event. The supporting characters, particularly the group of scientists, are sketched effectively enough to make you care about their fate, though the focus remains squarely on Maya. We see glimpses of their fear, their resilience, and their specialized knowledge, which occasionally proves useful in navigating the ruins. If there's a slight wobble, it's that the human antagonists, the occasional desperate looters or territorial survivors, feel a little less developed than the overwhelming environmental threat. They serve their purpose in raising the immediate stakes in certain sequences, but the true villain of the piece is the shattered city itself, the relentless, indifferent power of nature unleashed. The film does an admirable job of balancing the grand scale of the disaster with the intensely personal nature of Maya's mission. It understands that even amidst citywide destruction, individual stories of courage and connection are what resonate most deeply. The bond between Maya and the albatross, her aging helicopter, almost becomes a character arc in itself, a testament to resilience and the refusal to give up, even when everything seems broken. In conclusion, HAVOC 2025 is a visceral, technically impressive, and emotionally engaging disaster thriller. It delivers on the promise of its title with spectacular set pieces and a palpable sense of peril, but it's Anya Sharma's compelling performance as Maya that elevates it beyond mere spectacle. It's a film that reminds you of the fragility of our world and the extraordinary strength of the human spirit when pushed to the brink. If you're in the mood for a gripping, edge-of-your-seat experience that combines breathtaking action with a solid emotional core, then brace yourself for HAVOC. It's a wild, terrifying, and ultimately quite moving ride. Just make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened.